All right, let's talk about socialism, because that perhaps is what this is all about, that we are just watching governments worldwide centralize power. They are centralizing power against their free individual citizens. That seems to me to be what the result of the virus of COVID has done. That's the virus I'm really worried about. I'm not worried that much about the virus that can get people sick, and of course it can. I am much more worried about the virus of socialism and Marxism and communism that is going to have this elite class ruling over everybody else. Well, you guys all know Nikole Hannah-Jones. She is the creator of the 1619 Project, which was the New York Times backed project where, in essence, the argument of the 1619 Project is that the founding of America is not really the values of 1776 and individual rights and freedom and the Constitution, et cetera, et cetera. It really is that the founding of the project was 1619, that slavery and racism are the driving forces behind the history of America. Now, ironically, this was done as what we were told was a piece of historical fact and actual journalism. Nikole Hannah-Jones has had to retract a bunch of things from 1619 Project, and no serious academic, as far as I know, is taking any of this stuff as fact. Well, now there's some audio leaking out. This is Nikole Hannah-Jones back in 2019 talking about Cuba and socialism, and I'm gonna link it to what's happening, of course, in Cuba right now, and then to some of our wonderful progressive socialist politicians of the day. Take a listen to this.
Are there candidates right now, or even just places, that you think have a viable and sufficiently ambitious integration agenda? And if so, what is it? that laugh said a lot right there.
Yeah, I mean, let me just. I'm definitely not an expert on race relations internationally. And it's also hard to look at countries that didn't have, large institutions of slavery and compare them to the United States. The answer is probably going to be surprising that I'm going to give, which is if you want to see the most equal multiracial, it's not a democracy, most equal multiracial country in our hemisphere, it would be Cuba. Cuba has the least inequality between Black and white people of any place really in the hemisphere. That's, the Caribbean, most of the Caribbean, it's hard to count because the white population in a lot of those countries is very, very small. They're countries run by Black folks. But in places that are truly, at least biracial countries, Cuba actually has the least inequality. And that's largely due to socialism, which I'm sure no one wants to hear.
Cuba has the least inequality, and that's largely due to socialism, which nobody wants to hear. Okay, so she's basically telling you, this is 2 years ago now, she's telling you that she's a socialist. She almost accidentally calls Cuba a democracy. She stops that, and her evil cackle right at the beginning of something. And also the way these, I don't know if that was an NPR guy or it's a National Post thing or something, but the way these interviews, the way they talk, do you think that socialism is bad? And like, what's up with Cuba? And like, can you tell me more about that stuff? Like, what's wrong with these people? Can someone explain to me what happens? I don't know if it is that it's the soy, you're like ingesting so much soy, and next thing you know, you're talking like this, and you're like, what's going on? And I can't really like think, and like, I'm a socialist. Anyway, so she basically admits she's a socialist there. What was interesting is she talks about Cuba having the least inequality between Black and white people, so that's good. But what she's not telling you, of course, is that in a socialist society, the most inequality is between the ruling class of Cuba right now, which is doing pretty good, and the people that are out on the street who are begging for freedom, right, and who are running around with American flags. They've got nothing. And the ruling elite have everything. That is what always happens in a socialist society. But she likes that. They actually like that inequality because these socialists, these Marxists that we have now, they're for power, and she knows she's going to be in the ruling elite class. So they're trying to destroy our system. They're trying to destroy our democracy and the capitalist system. And I'll get to this in just a sec. They're trying to destroy because they know they will be at the top of the food chain. So when they're pushing socialism, they're pushing socialism for thee, not for me, which is what all these giant corporations are doing, right? Like all these corporations that have gone woke, they want to still profit off every damn thing there is. Trust me. I just went to Disneyland. Is it Disneyland or Disney World here in Disneyland? Yeah, went to Disneyland, and it's like Disneyland here in Anaheim in California. I've been to the other one. I've been to Disney World in Florida. But Disneyland, it's like they go woke as woke. But if you go to Disneyland, pretty much all they want is your money, right? They want your money. They want to sell you a bunch of plastic bullshit for your kids that they know they're never going to use ever again, while they're selling you $12 sodas to make you fat and everything else. So these people are capitalists in their private life. What are they? What is it? Capitalists in the bed? What is it? In the bed and the sheets and the something? You know what I'm talking about. Something in the sheets and the bed and the point is they're fucking all of us. That's the point.